Welcome back. It's been a while. I know it's been a while. Welcome back to an episode of Big Brother Advice. I'm your big brother, Big Boy Fletch. But I think we're ready to go. So let's get this in. Story one. Let's get started. Am I overreacting? Wife deleted our entire text log. Okay. Was sitting eating lunch with my wife a few days ago, and she was telling me that she's running out of space on her phone, and that she has been having trouble sending messages and couldn't receive any sort of media, has had to regulate what she takes pictures of, deleting old pictures / videos, etc. To which I suggested simply buying more cloud storage and backing everything up, and doing a mass delete of photos, etc. on her phone to free up some space. She didn't even acknowledge my suggestion, and almost without hesitation simply deleted our entire text log right in front of me, saying that it was the quickest way for her to free up space. I can't help but feel a little awestruck and hurt, as if I hadn't just given her a perfectly good option for clearing up space, but to then turn around and ignore it completely and wipe our message history clear without even so much as batting an eye. For context, I travel a lot for work, so a lot of our days are shared via messages. The next day I told her that it kind of bothered me and hurt a little bit when she did that, to which she responded with, "I'm not responsible for how you feel," which honestly didn't serve to make the situation any less painful. Am I overreacting? Okay, interesting. I mean, I get where you're coming from. Your feelings are okay. Your feelings are valid about whatever happened. And I mean, if you suggested an option and she didn't take it, that's something that is considered, it's fine. It shouldn't be an issue. What I have a problem with, and the reason I chose this story, is what your wife said to you. I'm not responsible for how you feel. That just seems cold and hurtful for some reason. I don't like how your wife invalidated your feelings like that. Not okay. Something that probably shouldn't have been said, for sure. I think hopefully this has a good ending and we can talk about saying things we don't regret. You can do things and it not and not understand the weight that it has on your partner, and apologize and understand that, but don't say to your partners that don't invalidate your partner's feelings. Don't do that. I don't know. I just don't like the way that she worded it. It's very hurtful. I'm not responsible for how you feel, and I mean, in a way, she's not wrong. Also, but also, it was just very hurtful in the way, and the fact that he was trying to have another option available, and you just blatantly disregard that and just say I'm not responsible for your feelings, which is very weird to me. I don't know. It just feels very mean. Just big brother advice: don't invalidate your partner's feelings. Seek to understand where your partner is coming from, and then you can make judgments and talk about those things. But don't just say I'm not responsible for how you feel. It comes off as very mean and very hurtful, and I wouldn't say that. How the conversation probably should have gone is this guy would have said this, and he probably could have come at it a different way and been like, hey, I offered some suggestions, and I personally really didn't feel like you should have deleted our text messages because I work away a lot, and a lot of our interactions are through text, so I really would appreciate if we kept those, or you kept those. And then kind of go from there. And then a good response would have been, you know what, I'm sorry, I should have took into consideration what you felt and how you were feeling, but it was just the quickest way to do it. And then you come to a mutual understanding at that point. Yeah, so I don't know, just throwing out a little short one, and just some good advice. Just don't invalidate your partner's feelings. Don't say things to dismiss. Seek to understand where they're coming from and why they feel certain ways or stuff like that, instead of Either pick a side, girl. Come on. So seek to understand their feelings and not invalidate them. That's just my personal advice, honestly. But yeah, on to story 2. This one's a text thread, so if it's not perfectly, I'm gonna try to fill in blanks and try to say things in like a good sentence structure, but this is all done in text, so I'll put it on the board. I'll put it in the video for you to look at and read along with me if you really want. So okay, am I overreacting? My girlfriend called me a dick because I want to host Thanksgiving. It starts with this. Also, what if we hosted Thanksgiving? Is that a crazy idea? We could do tables outside and get like some tents and have both sides of our families come. Response is maybe. I don't know where the hell they'd park. He responds, in the front, where the tent's gonna go and the tables. He responds, close to the house. We don't need that big of a table. Girlfriend responds just with a no. Just like 2 of those white foldable ones put together. Response, I don't want to do that. I'm sorry. I'm just not comfy with that. Our families will meet when we get married, and that's that. Guy responds, I disagree. Girl goes, we are gonna cook and ham and mac and cheese for Thanksgiving and take it to my parents' place because we're not really gonna have Thanksgiving this year. Okay, it doesn't look like this was something discussed. He responds, no, I'm gonna go to my grandmother's for her usual Thanksgiving if we aren't doing it. We can do that too, though. Our families need to meet before that. Saying only at the wedding is kind of ridiculous. That means they wouldn't even work together on it. Right, so they wouldn't even have any say in the wedding, I guess is what he's trying to say. She responds, I don't know, I don't know, baby. I just don't want all those people in my house. Could have led with that. He goes, that's fine. We can talk about it next year. Then she responds, going through our house, looking at my stuff, touching my stuff. Sounds like some trauma, okay, and some past issues. He goes, I mean, that's why we clean up. We will be hosting events at some point. I hope you realize that. If I don't, no one will. She goes, yeah, I know, but they'll still be judging everything. We don't have the nicest families. He goes, shrugging emoji. That's life, not our problem. She responds, K. Just K. And then he responds, I mean, be mad if you want. I'm not wrong. I don't want to not have family over and host events. She just goes, okay. Do you feel like that was respectful of my boundaries and how I feel? If we were married, it would make sense, but we're not. You're being a dick. Okay. Let's not call names. Okay. It's probably not a good idea. He goes, I mean, to be fair, let's be real. I mean, be mad if you want is not a very nice response, but also like, I don't know. Like, I wouldn't have said that. He just comes off very like mean and kind of mean-spirited in that way. I mean, be mad if you want. I'm not wrong. Yeah. I mean, he's not wrong. That's life and not our problem. I don't know. It's just weird. Don't call your partner names. Probably not a good idea. Especially demeaning and like meant for like a mean-spirited person. What he said was not being a dick. It was just kind of, I don't know. I don't know. Don't think that was called for, essentially, is what I'm trying to say. He says, excuse me, you're not even taking my side into consideration. You're shutting down the conversation and only allowing room for what you want. If we were married, it would make sense to host. That's opening up to our side. Right now, your family and my family is your family and my family is my family. So weird. Well, then that's how you approach the conversation. Don't just call me a dick because I'm not doing what you want. That's hella disrespectful. I'd like them to meet, but I don't feel comfortable with that many people in our home. It freaks me out. I'd be freaking out the whole day and wouldn't enjoy it at all. Okay, that's my boundary, babe. We aren't married, and it makes me uncomfortable. Let's just talk about this later. You upset me pretty bad, and I'm not going to be in the state to talk about this. Cool. Okay, because you upset me too. Okay. Lots to unpack here. Lots to unpack. We can start with not calling your partner names is probably a good start. This seemed to be handled very poorly by both sides. Yeah, I know that we'll still be judging everything. She doesn't make any sense. Her argument doesn't make any sense. it goes from they'll be looking through my stuff in the house to I don't want all those people in my house to we don't have the nicest families. And she goes back to we'll do it when we get married and your family's my family, your family's your family, my family's my family. Like she doesn't have like a one concrete reason why. It sounds like she's trying to beat around the bush of the issue, and I wish that she would have said what she really wanted instead of saying a bunch of different things that kind of make no sense. Because she's not tackling the issue together with her partner. She's just kind of throwing out a bunch of different things and saying like, this is the reason I don't want them to come over. Personally, I'm going to say this personally, I wouldn't be dating a person like this who thinks that when we're just engaged / dating, that doesn't sound like they're engaged. I don't remember the title, but, like, firstly, I'm gonna go from top to bottom. This wasn't communicated because we can tell by the fact that they hadn't talked about what they were going to do for Thanksgiving, even though this was posted recently and it's about a month from Thanksgiving at the time of this recording. So it's about 2 months out from Thanksgiving. They haven't even talked about it yet. It's sweet that he wants to host. That's cool. Oh yeah, no, she even starts with where would they park? Like she goes from where they park, where's the tent's gonna go, where's the table's gonna go. I'm not comfortable with it. Our families will, yeah, she's just being really weird, beating around the bush. I don't know. I wish we can get an answer about what she really has a problem with. I don't like how he said, that's life, not our problem. I mean, be mad if you want. I'm not wrong. I don't want to not have family over, and that's okay. But like, also like the way you're in the middle of like, you're hurt. Obviously, she's not giving you. She's not being a very good partner here and trying to like compromise. She's literally just like, no, we're not doing it. And she's really not giving anything concrete about why she wouldn't want to be doing it. And then you're kind of coming at it in the sense of like, you kind of get upset, and I don't blame you. I appreciate you not calling her names. Her calling you a dick is not okay. I understand where you're getting mad. You do have a point in the fact that she's not even taking your side into consideration. She's just kind of shutting down the conversation. I don't know. Don't call your partner names. They're beating around the bush, and it's weird. I don't know why. And then she plays the victim at the end. Okay, because you upset me too. Okay, yeah, but you called him a name. There's a difference between whatever you're upset about and whatever he's upset about. If you're upset about something really traumatic, then say it. I have a feeling that it really goes down to the fact that she does not like her own family, and she doesn't want her family to meet his. I don't know. Because you can see going through our house, looking at my stuff, touching my stuff. That's specific. Like, I feel like that's happened before. So, I don't know. She's wrong for name calling and not clearly communicating her feelings. She's not communicating at all. She's saying words. Yes. Communicating and saying words are two different things. She's saying a lot of words. She's saying a lot of different things, but she's not communicating the real issue. If I had to guess, I don't know this person. I don't have any connection to this person. But my guess would be that it has something to do with her family and the fact that she probably doesn't like her family or doesn't trust her family. And she's worried about the outcome of her family meeting his. And that's fine. But say that. Don't just beat around the bush being like, where's the tent going to go? Okay, then where's the tables going to go? Where are they going to park? Like, don't say that. Just communicate the issue right up front. Being like, hey, this is how the conversation should have gone. He suggests hosting Thanksgiving, and she goes, well, hey, I haven't really talked about this with you yet, but I did want to bring up that honestly, I'm really nervous about our families meeting because and we're assuming that this is the issue. This could not be the issue. And she has a whole completely different issue. But, that she just is like, hey, my family isn't very respectful or blah, 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 whatever reason she wants to give. But she's communicating that to him and not just like trying to find other ways to shoot down his idea. because he's trying to do something nice and sweet, and it's a really nice thing that he wants to do, but she's just not having it, and that's fine. But don't just like give random excuses. I don't know, just very weird. I wish she would communicate with him and tell him what's the reason and why he doesn't want her to come, want them to come over, and they can talk about that. Instead, she calls him names, she calls him a dick, and then it kind of goes downhill from there. She tries to play the victim, and I don't know. I wouldn't want to date a person that doesn't want my families to meet not for a good reason, right? Like if it was for like my dad's like a convicted murderer and like they're very rude, sure, maybe, you know what I mean? But like, I don't know. Like there's got to be something more that she's not saying, and it makes me sad that she's not saying it. And I hope that this doesn't cause too much of a rift. I would expect a full apology for calling me names. I would apologize for how I handled it before the name calling, as in like that's life type thing. It did come off kind of rude in a text. This probably after the fact, like he's starting to get upset. This probably should have been an in-person conversation, not a text conversation, because a lot of things can get misconstrued in text and like meaning and saying and all this stuff. And probably didn't mean exactly what he said, but it came off a little rude. So I don't know. I think there's a lot of issues that need to happen here. And just playing the victim at the end is not okay. She's just like, okay, because you made me upset too. Okay, well, cool. Then we're not going to get anything done here, I guess. So, okay, well, I think that's it for story 2. Let's go on to story 3. Huh? I just can't shake this weird feeling. Hold on. I need to start putting the titles in these. No, the title is I just can't shake this weird feeling. Okay, sorry. So he says a long story short, but it ends up being a really long story. This one's a juicy one, so let's get into it. Long story short, my wife doesn't seem to want to spend time with me by going on couple getaways. My wife, 39, and I, 38, have been married for 7 years and together longer. So they've been together for more than 7 years. We have one son, and for the most part, haven't gotten alone time for more than a weekend in those 7 years. We do live away from family and have limited sitter options where we live now. I have been bringing up that I would like to go on more trips as a couple together, and her excuse every time I bring up going somewhere is money. This is important. Money. Money is an issue for her. Keep that in mind as we go through the story. Money for the sitter, money to pet sit, travel expenses, etc. Now, I know those are legitimate constraints. But never once has she seemed open to an actual trip that doesn't involve me driving the whole time while she listens to audiobooks or reads. I've never even had the option to say I will work extra so we can spend time together. She's been going on girls' trips, and he puts that in quotes, girls' trips for a few years now, and I don't have a problem with it, other than that she never offers or wants to do similar activities with me, like actually flying somewhere. It always goes back to money. Interesting. Girls' trips cost money. Why is she willing to go to girls' trips, not with you? Interesting. Another tidbit. My wife lost her job over the summer and thought we would have time to catch. And he thought that we would have time to catch up and spend a little more time together, but it was the opposite. I saw her less than when she actually had a job. I think we went on 2 or 3 dates, only a couple hours in almost 4 months. To say it's affecting me is an understatement. She still kept 2 camping trips with friends and kids over the summer because they were already paid for, is what he says in quotes. Okay, fine. But I work 6 to 7 days a week over the summer trying to pull in extra money. I didn't get to really do anything fun. Even on my birthday dinner, she didn't want to drink because we need to save money. Anytime I do this, it's because he puts it in quotes. Oh my goodness. So sorry. I was sicker than a dog for 3 weeks and had to cancel my birthday trip I had planned because of the job situation. This was the second attempt at dinner for my birthday that week because I was so sick, and she didn't even want to kick back and hang out with me. Of course, she kept her weekly friend outings over the summer, which involved drinking. Interesting. I recently had a conversation with her on how I wanted to travel some more as a couple. As usual, it was It's just too expensive for more than a weekend. She agreed to do one night at a local hotel. She then agreed to go to the resort, not too much further from home instead of the original pick. I agreed to plan everything and set it all up for our 24-hour getaway and would let her know. Within a few days of talking about this, she informed me that she was flying out of state with her friends because her friend was getting a cheap Airbnb, and also flights were cheap, so I'm going. Now this girl's trip is 4 days, and she didn't hesitate at all to book it and leave me at home to watch her son. She had another girl's trip back where she's from this spring. It was another 4-day trip she could go because she was staying at her parents with her friends, and her mom watched our son. She has many other nights away with her friends, and I've told her I want to go out to go do stuff with her friends because I get accused almost every time when I bring it up that I'm trying to keep her from her friends. Dude, what in the world? This walking red flag is you're married to her? Jeez, dude. Actually, she has yelled at me a few times saying I'm trying to keep her from her friends. Dude, what in the world? I promised I could plan a couple of trips to Hawaii and she wouldn't go because of the usual excuses. Trips for us are either family vacations or her going somewhere with friends. Co-workers, my therapist, and pastor have all picked up on how my wife and I don't have a great relationship. No duh. And people on the internet. They don't speak much and seems like she doesn't want to spend time with you. Me. No duh. I'm to the point where I don't want to do anything with her now after last week. My therapist has said I need to make the decision whether to stay or go, and now I feel like leaving. Man, it just sucks because there's a kid involved, dude. Like, man. And I'm sure like these things happened before the kid. I wish you could have seen this before they had a kid, and now they're dragging this kid through probably what's going to be a divorce. Oh man. Am I overreacting for being hurt that my wife goes on multiple trips with her friends every year and I can't get more than a weekend because of money? The same week, she tells me only a local overnight trip is the budget. She agrees to fly somewhere for 4 days with friends, which I know will turn into a drunken crap show. My wife hid things from me on her last... Knew it. I knew there was something coming. I read this a while ago. I pre-read. Read this a while ago, but I knew there was something coming. Yeah. She hid things from him. I knew it. I knew there was something coming. Because, like, everything seemed so bad. So bad. And I knew there was something else. My wife hid things from me on her last girls' trip that came out and made me lose some trust in her because she kept dodging questions that I already knew the answers to. She also had several blackout, sloppy drinking days recently, making bad decisions, and it leads me to believe more are going to happen. I will read... I had to look through the comments of this story for more context about what he meant by like she hid things from him. He said that she's more codependent on her friends and thinks she might be into her friends romantically, is what he thinks. And then the reason he thinks this, and I will explain. So this is a comment. He said, like saying she went to a strip club only for girls, a lesbian strip club. I was like, how does that work? First, there weren't any dudes in the strip club. Then there were dudes at the club, but if it was still a lesbian strip club. I'm not dumb. I've been to enough strip clubs to know how they work. Also, never mentioned the burlesque show. Her friend spilled the beans while we were drinking. Don't worry. Friend's husband got pissed off too because of something his wife said. I think it was a Freudian slip from her friend. Essentially, there was an entire evening where she was trying to hide from me when I told her after the fact I didn't care, but she thought it was a problem to tell me. I'm still not convinced I got the whole story and don't care if my wife goes to a strip club. If she didn't cross any boundaries, then there's nothing to worry about. ... Okay. I have a lot to say. Oh, and he also says sorry for the rant. Homie, I think you got a lot of more issues than what you got, than a rant on Reddit, okay? So, the list of issues are: you feel disconnected from your wife. Your wife doesn't seem to want to spend time with you. Your wife goes on trips with her friends, complains about money, and all the while you suggest trips for both of you, she rejects them because of money. Okay, you've mentioned in the comments your sex life is bad. All of these are bad signs and red flags. I totally agree. You use quotation marks around girls' weekends a lot. I'm assuming you don't trust your wife and her friends, and that's fine. This is what needs to happen, and I hate to say this because there's a kid involved. Kids involved always makes things more sad and more depressing, because you're not only separating a marriage, you are altering the course of a child's life for the rest of their life. Now, you can co-parent, and I've heard that that's pretty good, and it does work. You're really right. Sorry, guys. You're like right up on me. It does work, and it can work, and that's fine. But here it sounds like it's going to get very messy very quickly, and it can turn into a real crap show real quick. Like you said, you're not the only one that has observed that your wife doesn't like you. I hate to say that, because it doesn't seem like your wife likes you at all. I don't know. Like, I feel bad because your pastor, your poor kid, everyone, your therapist is telling you that your wife doesn't like you, and you're kind of in a catch-22 here. You have a kid. Like I said, it messes up their life too. I don't know, man. I just feel bad. Like, clearly these aren't just girls' weekends. There's clear hypocrisy going on here with the fact that she's like, oh, money, and then goes on trips of her own. And not even just like weekend trips, but she's going on multi-day trips that aren't just a weekend. You said 4-day trips. That is not a weekend. A weekend trip is like 2 days over the weekend. She's going on 4-day trips, meaning, is she finding a job? That's the problem. She doesn't have a job right now. She can do whatever she wants. So, I don't know. Is she finding a job? I think in the comments, I'm going off the assumption, I think she did end up finding a job, or she's actively looking. Either way, I don't remember. That's good. Still doesn't change the fact that she's lying to you. That's bad. This needs to be addressed. Like 2 years ago. Bad. When your partner, life advice, listen, when your partner is basically begging and pleading with you to spend more time with them, you need to stop and look in the mirror and be like, what have I done that makes my partner think I don't want to spend time with them? Now, this is a healthy relationship, ladies and gentlemen. We're emulating a healthy relationship. This is obviously something completely different. There's probably cheating going on. I'm going to assume. I'm sorry to say it. You already think she is codependent and likes one of her friends. They're going on friends' weekends. They've gone to a lesbian strip club. Dude, the pieces are there. It's just whether or not you're going to get it and you're going to do something with it. And there's no, like I said, there's nothing wrong with whatever, to each their own, whatever floats your boat, go do it. I don't care. She's in a heterosexual relationship, and she's literally telling you she went to a lesbian strip club and she goes on girls' weekends and doesn't want to spend time with you. Put it together, buddy. So, life advice here would be to, when your partner comes to you with a let's spend more time together speech and let's spend more time together stuff, I would take that as something that needs to be quickly addressed. Because spending time with your partner, wife, husband, whatever, is so deeply important to your relationship that, like, having a kid, and I know having a kid makes it so much more complicated, but people do it. My parents have 6 children. They did it. They're fine. They figured it out. They did stuff. One kid, you can figure it out. Now your life is your life is different than my parents. That's fine. I get that. But I'm just using it as an example that it can happen and it can work. So my advice would be, this conversation needs to happen now. It should have happened way earlier, but we're past it. This needs to happen now, and you need to talk to your wife and be like, hey, either figure out what's going on and how we can spend more time together, or I'm leaving. The marriage is basically dead at this point. So anything you do now is an improvement. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. Kind of a bummer to end on, because we kind of went like, ooh, kind of like, eh, and then like, ooh, and then like, oh, ooh, like dumpster fire. So thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. If you enjoyed, please subscribe down below, and let me know what you thought about some of these stories. If you disagreed with me, please tell me in the comments, and I will be sure to talk to you about it later. But like I said, The stories are in the description as well if you want to go read them. And yeah, thank you for coming by, and I will see you guys next time. See ya.